Hello, in this presentation we will record customer payment and deposits within QuickBooks Online. We will have a comprehensive QuickBooks Online course soon, if not available yet. We also have a comprehensive Excel course which complements the QuickBooks courses and a QuickBooks Pro desktop version course you can find at the link below. Here we are with the QuickBooks Online dashboard. We're going to be continuing with the Get Great Guitars problem. We're going to be entering customer payments. There's a couple places we could enter the customer payments. We could enter them up here in our items that have all the normal transactions, and we could go over here to our sales items on the left side and take a look at our options here as well. If we go to the sales to the left and we go to the customers up top, we'll see a list of some of activities, and this is one area we can have the received payments or get to the received payments. When we select the plus icon down here and go to the received payments, we would then enter the customer needed. If we go here, we can actually pick the customer, and this could be a useful tool for us. So note what is happening here is we're saying that in the past, let's select the plus icon. Let's tell the story here. I'm going to select the plus icon up top. We're in the customer section, and we're receiving a payment typically for an invoice that happened in the past, meaning we invoiced someone and we did work and or delivered a guitar in this case, and then we're going to get payment in the mail, and we're going to go to the receive payment once that has happened. So we're going to invoice, and then later on we're going to receive the payment in the mail. Now, if we select this receive payment item, then we'll select the customer and go through that information. If, however, we know who the customer is, we could go through here. In this case, it's going to be music store stuff, and see if we have our outstanding payments for them. If we see music store stuff here, we have the item of they owe us $1,446.27. If we look at this drop down, we can send a reminder, create a statement, create an invoice. And of course, the default here is receive payment, because that's what we're expecting next at this point, considering the fact that they owe us money. So we're going to say receive payment. We could select it from this item, and that'll populate some of this for us. It'll put the music store stuff up top, and it also it picks the current date, which we're going to change. We're going to say the date is going to be for our future problem, 02/26/21, February 26, 2021. We're going to say that the payment method is going to be a check. We're going to say the check number. This isn't our check number. This is an optional field, check number from the check given to us, and the undeposited funds rather than the checking account, meaning the receive payment means it's going to decrease the accounts receivable. The other side is going to go into whatever account we decide here, typically either the checking account or undeposited funds. Undeposited funds used when we're going to group everything together, then make the deposit in the same grouping as it will be seen on the bank statement at the end of the day. Then we have the amount we're going to receive. Now this amount's being generated in this case from the automatic checking of these two invoices that are outstanding. We're going to say here, however, that there's only this one invoice that we're going to receive payment for and not this one. So I'm going to uncheck this one. We're going to say we received $816 for this invoice. Now, if it was an amount less than that, of course, then we'd put something less than that, and we'd still have a balance due for that invoice. In this case, we're going to say we got the full amount, and that is going to be it. Therefore, we're going to say what's going to happen with this. It's a receive payment, so it's going to reduce the accounts receivable by the $816 applied specifically to the customer of music store stuff. Then the other side of it is going to go to the undeposited funds account to then be transferred to the checking account at the end of the day when we go to the bank. And so we're going to save and new for that item. We won't look at the reports quite yet. What we're going to do is enter another one of these, and we'll see another screen here, and then we'll go to look at the reports, and then we'll record the deposit. So here, this looks more like the normal screen where we don't have the vendor yet. So I'm going to close this back out just to show this. If we close this back out, the next one's going to be for Anderson Guitars. So we could select the receive payment here, or we could go to the other option. The other way we could do this, select the little plus icon up top, and we're going to go to the customers. and we want to go to the receive payments item. So we'll go to receive payments. And then once we could select the customer up top. If I select the drop down, and then here's our customers, and then we can just type in Anderson Guitars. That's who we are receiving the payment from. And we can tab through this then. So the date is going to be 2/26/21. Once again, it copied that or it saved that date from the prior transaction. Payment type, we're going to say is a check. So I'm going to say it's a check. Check number is going to be 5321, 5321. Once again, it's going to go to undeposited funds. And we're going to keep scrolling through here. Now we could put the amount here of the check, or if it's the same amount as the check or as the invoice, this invoice, then we can check off the invoice and it will automatically populate that amount. If we select that invoice, then it will pull up the invoice that we're receiving the payment for. So here's going to be the amount. We got $275. It's going to be tied to that invoice. And here is the amount that will be tied to that invoice. So that means that the journal entry will be that we're going to receive payments. Therefore, accounts receivable is going to go down. So that means Anderson Guitar no longer owes us. We're not going to show that they owe us. This money has now been paid. The receivable account going down. The other side of that is going to go to undeposited funds. So let's save this and let's check that out on the reports for these two items that we had to receive payments for. Then let's record the deposit. So we're going to say save and new. We're going to close this. We're going to go to the reports on the left side. We're going to go down to the balance sheet. And let's take a look at some reports. So I'm going to run report 020121 to 022821. February 1st, 2021 to February 28th, 2021, and run that report. So here is the report that we have run. If we scroll down through this, we have the undeposited funds. That's one side of this transaction that we had. We put it not into the checking account yet, but into undeposited funds. If we select that item and scroll down, we've got these two payments, this 45.63, 62, and 53.21 music store stuff, Anderson Guitars, for 816.27 and 275. If we select either of those, we will go down to that payment. Here's the payment for music store stuff that we had. And if we close that one out and select the other, this 275, here is the payment for Anderson Guitars. So there are the two. Closing this back out, we can take a look at the other side by scrolling back up, going back to the report summary, and then the other side is going to be in accounts receivable going down. So here's the accounts receivable. If we select the receivable and scroll down, here we have Anderson Guitars, music store stuff. If we select either of those, we can see it's decreasing the receivable. If we select either of those, we go back to our receive payment. And I'm going to close this back out. We're back to the dashboard up top. So we're on the dashboard on the left side. And next we're going to record the deposit. So we put this money into undeposited funds. So let's take a look at that. We're going to go to reports on the left and then go back to the balance sheet. And we're going to see what's in undeposited funds once again. So I can change the dates to 020121 to 022821, February 1st, 2021 to February 28th, 2021, and run that report. So here is the report. Now note, if we go down to undeposited funds in the accounts the other current assets, we've got 1,641. That represents money that we should have basically on hand. We should have either checks or cash, like in the store, in our cash register, or in our office, that we plan on going to the bank and depositing. So now we're going to imagine that that is happening, moving them out of undeposited funds into the checking account. That's what we will do now. To do that, we're going to select this drop down up top, and we're going to go to the bank deposit. Now note, just look at the flow. It's good to just remember the flow. Note that this bank deposit typically is kind of over here. It should be, you can think of it as mainly, usually, hopefully, mostly part of the customer section, because what happens is we get invoices in this case, and then we receive payment and put it into undeposited funds, and then we group them all together and put them into the checking account. Or we have a sales receipt that we get, and we make the sale at the same point in time, and we then deposit that into the checking account. So that's what's going on now. Now we're going to deposit into the checking account. So let's go into the bank deposit. And the reason it's not in the customer section is because there are other types of deposits we could have. We could have the owner making a deposit. We could have taken a loan out or something like that. But those are more unusual deposits. Hopefully, mainly most of the deposits are coming from customers, from sales being made once the business is established, up and running, and rolling good. So we're going to say that the deposit's going to go into the checking account. We're going to change the date to 02/26/21, the deposit date, because we are working in the month of February of 2021 in this practice problem. So then we have these 4 deposits that we have. So 2 of them we have done at this time, and 2 of them we had done prior to this time, and all of them we're going to deposit at this time. So we're going to check all of them out. We're going to say we want to deposit all of these, and that's the point. So if we were to put these into our system one at a time, in terms of depositing them one at a time, and then group them all together and put them to the bank deposit in one deposit of $1,641.27, then when we get the bank statement, it's going to say, we had this deposit of $1,641.27, and we're going to have 4 deposits that we're going to have to add together to match that out, to tie it out, to reconcile in the bank reconciliation. We would rather have the same grouping so that tying out that reconciliation process will be easier. So what's this going to do then? It's going to increase the checking account by $1,641.27, and it's going to decrease the undeposited funds to 0, I would think, because that's hopefully what we had in there. Now note, we had these all pop up automatically because they were in undeposited funds, and we're using that account. If we had some other deposit, we'd have to use this items down here. So let's record this and let's check out our financial statements and see if it does what we think it should do, as we just described a moment ago. So there's that. We're going to close this back out. We're going to go back to the balance sheet. We're going to change the dates one more time to the month of February of 02/01/21, 02/28/21. Now if yours didn't go right back to the balance sheet, then go to Reports, Balance Sheet, Dates, February 1st, 2021 to February 28th, 2021, and run that report. So here is the report. Checking account, top account. That's the one we want to check first. So let's take a look at that. And there is our deposit. Notice it grouped it. It grouped it all in one number. Actually, that's not the deposit. Here's the deposit. And it grouped it all in one number. So here it says deposit versus the check over here. And this, of course, we went a little bit out of order. We wrote this check a while back for the loan payment because it's a practice problem. We want to demonstrate certain things in that order. But in this case, we've got the deposit here. There it is. If we select that item, then it's got these 4 components to make that one deposit. If we close this back out and we look at the other side, going back up, going back to the report summary, that other side being undeposited funds, and scroll down to undeposited funds, QuickBooks Online is nice. It still gives us the 0. It doesn't check that the fund doesn't disappear for us, which is good. It's not good if we want to not see 0 balances for printing the reports, but it is great that it allows us to drill down and see the detail. So let's drill down and see the detail there. And if we scroll back down here, it's going to give us that detail. Here's the 4 components of the deposit that make up that total deposit. So if we check off any one of these, we will see that same deposit of $1,641.27 and the 4 components of it. So that's going to be it that's going to be the recording of the received payment and the related deposit.